All right, that should do it. There we go. So you just wait for the picture. Actually, I think it starts recording before that even shows up. So, but there you go. Now we're live. There we are. So,
little timer. All right.
All right. I'm Pat.
I'm Jeffrey, and this is Coffee Before Bed.
Yep. What are we drinking tonight?
We're drinking coffee. This is the standard Dutch Brothers mix.
Yep.
That we get. I don't know where they get it from, but it's not bad.
No. Well, we don't gussy it up anymore either. So
no, ever since I watched a couple of things about the possible dangers of artificial sweeteners, I decided to kind of go free on that.
Why not the regular sugar though?
No, because regular sugar is just not good.
Okay. Is it better or worse for you than the sweeteners? I don't know. You're my go-to guy for this shit. So
okay. So they made the argument that regular sugar is not good for you to begin with, right? This is just how many Oreos you're going to put in you. But they said
all the Oreos.
Yeah, they said that when you put an artificial sweetener in your body, your body already reacts to it because of what the taste is emulating.
Yeah.
But it's also not getting the actual, product
from the sugar.
Correct. So they said this was
teaching you to be like a super diabetic then, or
well, see, that's the problem. Yeah, is it's already going to start producing insulin based on what's coming in, but it's also then not processing.
Oh, okay.
So it's just you're confusing the hell out of your system. I said this wasn't good for you. I'm like, all right, I'll try without it. And then,
well, why do you keep the cream in it?
I think that the fat of the cream actually creates a smoother taste that actually lasts longer, stays on the tongue a little bit longer than.
Okay. See, because like when you and I went out for coffee, that's the only time I ever put shit in my coffee ever.
Yeah.
So yeah, all other times I drink it straight black.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Yeah. So the more truck stop flavor to it, the better.
Look, that's personal taste.
Yeah.
I'm not going to fight you on that.
It's all due to work at night shift. We talked about that last time.
Well, yeah.
and making what did I call them? What the fuck were they? Wyoming
RedBulls.
Wyoming RedBulls.
Could you explain to the audience large?
The Wyoming RedBull is when you buy a giant Kit Kat bar, the one that's like roughly the size of a Three Musketeers per brick.
Good
and then you need
yeah.
the giant coffee, and so you break the Kit Kat bar in half, and then dunk it in the coffee till it wicks all the way up to the top end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a Wyoming RedBull.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now I'm sure that I could have bought Red Bull when I was in Wyoming.
Certainly.
So
yes,
I mean that was 20 years ago or 15 years ago. Red Bull was a thing back then, wasn't it?
It absolutely was.
Yeah, okay.
But, well, keep in mind...
It was a thing that, like, hipsters drank and shit. So...
Oh, energy drinks?
Yeah. Well, this was before, like, Monster was all over the place. Everybody drank Mountain Dew.
Okay, so if you want to track the course of energy drinks, then, all right, so you have Euro dweebs who... Red Bull started over there.
Yeah, it started over there. Yeah, that's where they have that airplane, the Flugenfloppen or whatever it is. That thing where they make the fucking airplanes out of junk every year and fly them off that.
Right. Okay, very specific event. Because it's a specific airline.
Well, they all say Red Bull on it.
Yeah. So it was kind of a Euro dweeb thing. So people were doing that, and then I can't even tell you like the moment that it happened, but eventually people started putting it in their vodka.
Well, let's see that. Yeah, that's what I remember.
Yeah. And then it sort of crossed over to the mainstream like around that point. And then as soon as like Monsters and Rockstars made their ways into the mainstream, then it was anybody's game. Shit, I had a whole lot.
Yeah, I remember Monster maybe just coming out because that was back in like 2005 or 6.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah. So. You would see them every now and then, but they were like stupid expensive, and so that's why I'm like, fuck that, I'm gonna buy a 40-ounce gallon of coffee.
What are you gonna do? I mean,
and a bunch of candy bars, and I'm gonna make it all the way back to Colorado in one stretch.
What are you doing? Like, yeah, so you're going over to the little convenience store aisle, and you're you're leaving with a tall boy of something, and it's usually
Right.
not going to be an energy drink. I
Yeah.
mean, it's. I mean, the weird thing was that I had a whole bunch of like high school students that would drink those things. Like,
What,
guys,
Monsters or Red Bulls?
oh, both,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
And it was like,
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I guess I've had a lot of students, but those are college kids, so I kind of expected it. So
I guess, but when it comes to like college and high school kids, I'm like, I'm sorry, fellas,
what about
like,
the middle schoolers?
yeah, happened too.
Oh shit.
But the whole thing was like, fellas, you're never going to have more energy than this in your life.
Yeah, that's true.
And if you need to supplement it with this,
Yeah.
and
Like, you need to go to bed earlier.
all the
Mom.
stuff like that. So
I think most of the railroad guys, we were still doing it was coffee.
yeah,
It was coffee. You'd have the couple guys who would bring like, the 6-pack of Mountain Dew.
Yeah,
You'd see a
yeah.
few guys do the energy drinks, but in fact, I think we had an energy drink machine in the yard, in the depot there. But it was like they were like $3 a piece or some outrageous bullshit.
the
Like
guys that would pay it.
no. See, the guys on the rail are a little bit cheaper.
I respect it.
Yeah,
And look,
they would find ways to get. They were the ones who'd always come and hit me up, just like for credit in the machine, so they could get new gloves, so they could sell them to their friends, or lantern batteries.
yeah, okay. Oh, you know what? Okay, because that's the other thing that I'm forgetting about. Because there is something else that was like around that time period, but may have even predated this shit. Was when did 5 Hour Energy come out? The little.
It was about then. Yeah.
I feel like it might have been even earlier.
It
I
might have
feel
been a
like,
little
yeah.
bit earlier
Yeah.
because I remember those maybe being around when I was in college. Yeah, it would be kind of like that secret thing that, only the people who still went to 7-Eleven would know about. Not like it's on every grocery aisle in the entire United
Oh
States.
no, yeah, it's well. The other thing that I remember, they used to still like gas stations, right? Because I remember the picture even from when I was very young, were these things called buzz bombers.
I don't remember that.
Well, it was a picture of this like drowsy looking pilot, and it was just a couple of pills. So these were
Oh, okay, yeah.
these were essentially like super hard like caffeine tablets.
Yeah. So it's almost like that shit that they gave to the Germans in World War II. This is borderline freaking crank.
Yeah, those would be amphetamines. Yes, and I've heard that those were used by both sides. But
Yeah, I've heard that pilots have used it too in the past. So, and I'm sure it's trucker's choice. So wasn't that a Simpsons joke? Trucker's choice, like stay awake.
yeah, that was those were the pep pills that Lisa was taking. Yeah,
That's right.
Trucker's
right.
choice.
Yeah, trucker's choice. Yeah. So, well, my trucker's choice was the Wyoming RedBull, which, if I ever have to take a drive that's like more than 3 hours, like I went down to Durango a couple years ago, I had to stop and make myself a Wyoming RedBull.
Well, this is the other thing, is that this is to say that this is endemic of Wyoming, right?
No, it's just where it is.
Well, the other thing is that when you want to indicate that the thing that you're using is slightly off or wrong or homosexual or however you want to take it, you have to put a state or a region.
State
in
or
front of it,
region, yeah.
right? So
Right,
obviously,
we talked about this.
yes.
Yeah.
So a Canadian tuxedo
A Canadian tuxedo, yeah, as opposed to a Dutch oven, yeah.
or a Dutch rudder,
The Dutch
or
run, yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yes,
So
yes.
you gotta qualify it with the location.
Right.
So Wyoming RedBull, Wyoming kind of stands for cheap, and I want to get out of here as fast as I fucking can.
Absolutely. That's why it. Case in point, yeah.
Excuse
Anybody that's worked in the trades even for a little bit, that's had to go into a porta-john, right?
Right.
Obviously knows you're not going into space with a Mexican space shuttle.
Is that what they call them? I've never heard that. Oh my god. Is that a rig thing?
It's a rig thing. It's a construction worker thing. It is. You will find this on any construction site. If you go into the porta-john, it will be called the Mexican space shuttle.
I've never heard that. So, that now that South Park joke makes sense, where they actually built it that fast and easily, and it actually did what it was supposed to do. Yeah.
This is not derogatory.
No,
it's just
of course not.
just keep in mind.
So-
But yes, anybody right now that has done any like trim
Construction,
carpentry, tile
Were you
work,
a roofer?
anything
Yeah.
like this. They're nodding their heads right now. It's like,
okay, that's what you call them. Huh?
well, because half the people out there, they're ones that wrote it.
I don't think I've ever. But I don't think I've ever worked on a job site where we used porta johns. So I don't. Yeah,
okay,
no, like
okay,
all of the
yeah,
places. So
yeah.
like all the years working outside at the airport, you just go inside the terminal.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes you go to the bad one, which is the one they only let the employees in. But on the railroad, every locomotive has a shitter in the nose.
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, usually you don't want to use it. It hasn't been pumped out in a month, but whatever. So, but yeah, you don't want to get out in the middle of like 30 below zero Wyoming, where it's blowing snow sideways.
Everything
Gotta
you
freeze your dick
say,
off,
yeah, everything you say applies
Gonna fall right
just
off,
as much
yeah.
to North Dakota. So I totally understand, buddy.
But you guys didn't have porta johns. You had the trailers, right?
Well, here's the thing: is there were okay. You could go to things like that, but here's the thing: is that the guys. I don't know how much I want to share this, but the guys kind of treated the rig floor like a toilet.
Oh, that's disgusting.
Well,
So-
yeah, of course it is, but
You mean where they're actually doing the drilling? So they just let it rip?
well, they would pee down the hole. They would, or if there was anything that looked
Just go to the center of the earth. You might as well.
right. Yeah, I
right,
mean,
right,
yeah,
right,
considering considering what we were actually putting in there,
Yeah.
but definitely not messing with the water table.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because through the mud jack stuff doesn't do that enough,
Sure.
right? Yeah.
so yeah, a lot of guys would just pee off the rig floor. You only went to the bathroom if you were going to deuce.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's kind of pointless. But
Yeah.
yeah, there would often be there could be those things around. Sometimes there weren't.
Yeah. See, on the railroad, you were not allowed to do that in the lead locomotive. If you had to drop a deuce, you had to go to the next one. No matter how gnarly the head was in that one, you had to use it.
Why?
Because you do not drop a deuce in the locomotive
Okay,
that
so
you're
it's
riding in.
okay. So this is an unspoken rule.
No, this is something they taught to all the greenhorns. So yeah, it's like, no, if you got to take a shit, you're going in that locomotive, or you're waiting until we get where we're going.
You know, I've heard that where you don't. It's the same thing. You don't shit in the tour bus bathroom unless it is an absolute emergency.
Oh, if you're like touring, like
Yeah.
like a band.
Uh huh.
Oh,
It's like you wait until you
I think
get
if you're
to.
Mick Jagger, you do whatever the fuck you want to do. So
There's that, but that's what they say. You don't do that unless it's an emergency. And Mick Jagger doesn't take a bus, man. He flies
That's true,
now. But yeah, you can shit in that one. But but the whole thing is like you are still going to have to deal with the smell. It's not going anywhere.
right,
So,
yeah. Well, that's the locomotive rule. It's the same thing. Yeah.
So even if you're big Mr. Fancy Pants, Mick Jagger
Mm-hmm.
shit, you're just kind of like, yeah, but I still have to smell it, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So typically, even he's going to wait till they get to the Waffle
Yeah.
House.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, I don't think I've ever been on a job site where you use porta johns. Maybe I can't remember though. So,
Well,
we took my daughter up to the Ren Fest this year.
oh yeah,
So yeah, and we had good time and all the things, and ate a couple things and stuff like that. And we got to hike all the way back out to like the D lot to get out of there. And she's like, "Oh, I gotta go to the bathroom." I was like, "Have at it."
There it is.
There it is. She opened the door and looked in it and just closed it and was like, "I'll be okay."
you learn a lot about human willpower
Right.
when you see where you have to do this.
Yeah.
I mean, so the park I run around up there,
Mm-hmm.
right? There's a porta john there,
Yeah.
right? And there has been for years, right?
Really? It's just like a school one, or?
Well, it's out there. So if you drive past the school,
Yeah.
right, and you just keep going up that hill
Uh-huh.
to where the lot ends,
Yeah, the fancy house up there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
it's right there on that corner,
Really?
and it has been for years.
Oh, someone just forgot about it then. So.
No way, because it gets emptied.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Now
I bet you it's there for the baseball games. So come
it's
think
gonna
of
be
it,
something like that.
something
Yeah,
like that.
it's
Yeah.
gonna be something like that. Intramural sports or whatever.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah.
So the thing is, I don't like to use it, but there have been a
Yeah.
couple of times mid-run where I'm like,
Oh,
"This is
yep,
happening."
This is happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. No. Yeah. No, I could tell you horror stories about cleaning bathrooms on airplanes, man. So.
Please do.
No. I think we've had enough of the Porta John talk for one night. We're gonna have to save that for later, because I mean we're talking about truly horrifying things. So don't ever use the airplane bathroom if you can avoid it. So it's probably the best way to get hepatitis. So
That's disgusting.
it's awful. It's awful. Don't use it. If you have to make like a 9-hour transatlantic, I get it. You're SOL, you know. So, but that just encourages you not to drink like 6 beers before you get to Halifax, you know. By that point in time, you will not care.
Yeah, I will do what it takes to make that flight.
Right. Yeah. It's a hike. So. But yeah, don't ever use the airplane bathrooms. So the lavatories. So
I've done it.
Yeah, I've done it
I
too.
mean, you know, that's just.
They might not be as bad as they were when I was working there, but when I was working there, they were a sight to behold. So, and it might not be on your flight, but when you're like turning like 6-7 flights a day, and I'm cleaning every bathroom,
Of
on 'em,
course.
I guarantee you about half of them are jacked up.
Certainly.
So
certainly.
yeah,
Well, okay, I would argue that there's a chance that in a post-COVID world where
ooh,
not just the tips and tricks that you used to do, but they go in there with an actual like medical grade flamethrower and
oh no, they don't. So you got to be kidding me. You got 30 minutes to turn this plane, son. So that's why you get everybody off before you see people cleaning it, because they ain't gonna clean it. They don't want you to see that. He's gonna tell you how he used to do the tray tables, man. Oh my god, he's the same rack for all entire row.
I know.
Yeah. So, yeah, don't ever set anything that you're gonna put in your mouth on your tray table. Yeah.
Well, it's in the package, man. I'm not.
I get
I'm
it,
not,
man. Yeah. So
I'm not dumping my fucking like stroopwafel and
right. I'm just saying, if you have a grape that escapes, don't pick it up. So
oh no,
yeah.
no, of course not. No, no. And look, on top of that, my hands aren't clean.
Yeah. I don't know. We did fly last year during the COVID. So actually, it wasn't bad.
Yeah, I did too.
It wasn't bad, even though we had pretty full planes. So
I mean, there was some fucking virtual signaling douchebaggery at the airport, but that's about
you
it.
say, oh, like I'm wearing my mask. Why aren't you? Kind of.
Oh,
but you
yeah.
have to wear your mask in the airport.
Oh no, because yeah, that's where I kind of got greasy with some dude because he was yelling at a little kid because her mask wasn't on.
Yeah. Okay. Come on. So,
She's 10.
she's 10.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I've seen enough stories of people getting hucked off airplanes now that it's just going to be a thing. So, for a while. And I mean, I've flown so many times in my life, and there have been so many times where I did get legitimately sick on an airplane. You know,
Yeah.
I get it. It's
Yeah.
pressurized air. And yes, it is some of the cleanest air that you're going to, but it is so dry that if there's anything in that air, you're getting it. So,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
and that's the thing that most people don't realize. So,
Well,
I don't know how much a mask is going to help on that. So,
Nah,
well, it depends on how long the flight is and whether or not you got one of the good ones. I don't know, man. Depends on whether or not other people are fucking around. So, the thing that I would like worry me is like, you know, you have that person who planned their vacation to Vegas or something like that. So I'm going to Vegas no matter what. And then like 3 days before that, they get a bad cold and then they don't go get tested. And then they sit next to you.
well, bro.
And you got someone who's suffering next to you, and you're like, oh, come on, man. It's just like that thing where, you know, we used to bitch about people who, you know, if you're sick, don't come into work. Oh, yeah,
Right.
what am I doing? You know? So if you're sick, you burn a sick day, stay home. So don't be like running around here getting the rest of us sick. And I mean, that would be the same thing true. But if I bought like, you know, my $89 ticket on Southwest, it's non-refundable and blah, blah, blah. I'd be like,
Yeah.
well, COVID, no COVID, be damned. I'm going to Vegas. You know, that's fucking selfish. So just put it off a week, man. Pay the $50 change fee or whatever it is. So
Well,
go
like,
heal up.
look, I will show some sympathy with that because, like, if you've gone through all the trouble of getting this time off and organizing this with the kid stuff and all that other stuff, right? This is all stuff I don't take into consideration because I don't have
Right.
I don't have dependents. I don't have any other stuff that I have to make those arrangements for, right? I'm not excusing it, all right? Because here's the thing. This was my problem with flying before COVID, and it's doubly worse now, right? Is if you're traveling with at least one other person, right?
Sure.
Or, God bless you if you have 3 where you can block out a row, fantastic.
Yeah.
But if you're doing the Mr. Jeff special where it's usually just yourself, then what they will do is they will find somebody that is John Goodman at his fattest, and they're going to park him right next to you, and he is going to be taking
You're
up
going to be there crossed, his fingers laced over his
many
chest.
times. Yeah. So that's the thing is I have had to deal with a person that takes up 1 3/4 seats,
Yeah.
and that person typically has that cold.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So not only are you you are just losing this battle on this front because you can fight back up against it a little bit.
You can.
Right? You have to declare your territory early enough, which means this
You got to
person
get
is
a board before
tilted.
they do. Yeah.
Oh yeah, which you don't really have a choice in.
Depends on the airline, but yeah.
Well, unless you're paying, and so
And I would always argue that it's worth the extra $20 to $50. All right, to get the seat that you want in the order that you want, to get the bag checked and not have to lug around 3 carry-ons or whatever.
oh no, I understand.
Yeah.
Well, no, fuck that. Is my answer to that was there are first class upgrades.
Yeah.
It is worth every penny.
It is worth every penny. Yeah. Now
And-
that's a very
Used the word before.
Yeah,
That is
yeah.
a bougie
That's a
answer
bougie
to. But that being said, I was going to a bougie place in the first place,
Fair
so
enough.
yes,
Yeah.
it's okay. It's not like I was like, this is my last $70.
right.
If things don't work
Take
out,
Greyhound. Yeah.
yeah. If things don't work out
Yeah.
in Reno, that's it for me.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm not. this isn't like my last stop.
Right.
But,
Nothing left but the Merchant Marine. Yeah. Which I hear is actually a really good job. So
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if that pays like crazy.
yeah.
I have heard that especially in this, COVID hell we call life, my understanding is that,
It's not that bad.
no, of course, this is how I don't
Okay,
give a
all
fuck.
right.
My life is better in COVID,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
All right.
Fucking I got raises because of COVID,
Right.
But for the average person, like, evidently finding tradesmen is a nightmare because there's
Tradesmen?
Oh yes, like getting people to do work on your house is like
Oh.
backed up in a lot of places.
I guess it would depend on what you're trying to do. I don't know. I think the thing, so the guys that I know that lay carpet, they've been busy. So, and tile. Mm-hmm. But they've been booked out for months. All right. And so, but it's not like, hey, hey, I want new carpet. They're like, oh, no, I can't fucking do it. It's like, well, I can do it, but not till January. Is that a problem? And I don't have a problem with that. So, it's usually like you can't get somebody, well, I got this week to refinish my kitchen because I'm off work that week. And so can you guys fit it all in that week? And they're like, no.
Well, so my understanding of this is a lot of people took what they had planned in terms of like the family and I are going to
Right.
place. Can't do that right now.
Yeah, I
or
wanna
they
redo
elect
my
not to.
basement. Yeah.
And they turn that into like I'm going to redo my basement. So I guess that's
That
sort of
makes
been in
sense.
demand.
Yeah.
Right?
That makes sense. And we'll see what happens with travel this winter anyway, man. So we were coming up. Thanksgiving's usually the busiest weekend of the
Yeah,
year.
that's true.
I
Yeah.
doubt it will be this year. So I doubt it will be. We'll just
I
have
think
to
there'll be
see.
people that risk it.
Oh, I'm sure there will. But, like even, I think my brother was, who was telling me that they were having an easier time finding an Airbnb. I don't think it was my brother. It must have been somebody else.
That
It's like
must have-
there's this weekend that they were going to go skiing or something like that. And usually it's like, oh my God, if you want to get in this condo complex, you got to book it out in like May,
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, we've got, weekends and upon weekends that are available. So
That sounds like something a lawyer friend of ours would talk about.
I don't think it was him. So yeah, but it would be. Yeah, it's very bougie.
Not just bougie. It's like I said before. Is my knowledge.
I don't think sometimes Ryan's not a bougie.
Oh, I'm not saying that he is,
Yeah,
but what
okay.
I'm saying, no, what I told you was there's a part of outdoor Colorado that has not been touched by his bicycle wheels yet, and
Yeah, it's probably the Navajo reservation, but
possibly. But if it
they
hasn't,
won't let you on there. I don't know.
if it
Or
hasn't
maybe
been,
Rocky Flats. I don't think he's probably taking it up on Rocky Flats.
that dude is an outdoor weekend warrior.
he is,
So until it's been destroyed by his bicycle tires,
Yeah,
he can't rest.
yeah. I don't know. I got to do more of that next year. Not ride a bike, of course.
Ride a bike.
I'm not gonna ride a bike.
Why don't you want to ride a bike?
Cause I don't know. I'd rather just walk. So I don't need
Oh,
to get there
okay.
any faster.
Not about speed.
Not about speed. So, speed is just a function of distance. So,
At time, yes. That's correct. Yeah.
So
You divide by
divide,
this.
yeah, divide by this, yeah. So, but I don't know. Just get up in the hills a little bit more. It was nice a couple times that I did go up this year.
Yeah, absolutely. No,
Yeah.
if you're like something over there where you're getting your feet moving around and
Yeah, yeah. But again, I mean, summer always kind of like sneaks up on me. The end of summer always sneaks up on me. Usually because I'm
Tell me
teaching
about
summer
it.
classes. So, god dang, man, next summer if I'm not teaching, that'd be glorious. So, but I know it's gonna happen. I can just see into the future already. So,
yeah, and you don't chamber or go fuck yourself very well because you know they're gonna ask.
no, not to my current employer. I love my
Yeah.
guys that I
Well,
work
exactly,
for.
exactly.
Yeah. So,
And you don't have to say it in those exact words,
Yeah.
but just the whole thanks, but it's not for me.
I am tempted to go out and start looking though. Just for I'd like a speed run like 4-year day job that just pays like crazy. Because I could literally
Yeah,
just cash out.
that's
I'd be done, and then I could do whatever. So, yeah, I've been thinking about it.
yeah. Let's see.
I don't really want to wear a tie.
This is okay. Yeah, that's the thing, though, is we're kind of taking a different philosophical approach where instead of knocking it all out at once and then doing whatever, we're trying to mix the doing whatever into
Yeah,
With-
yeah,
minimal incursions of the professional world.
yeah. But I'm just starting to realize that I can do both. You know,
Yeah.
I can actually do
Yeah.
both, and if I just do both, then it'll be over that much faster. So, I probably got one more leg in my career left before I go on like my forever job, which would probably be just teaching 2 classes a semester.
That's my job.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Well, I don't have a whole lot of advice to give on the subject, but I will say that my dad tried that approach.
Yeah.
Then he died.
Yeah, that's true.
So no, I'm not
Yeah.
giving you that warning, but I am saying
Yeah.
that he did give me through his inability to take time and enjoy things in the way that he'd planned.
Yeah.
He did give me a smell the roses sort of
Yeah.
message.
Yeah. See, my dad kind of he did the glide path thing. So
Yeah.
because there was no chance that my dad was going to retire at whatever the traditional 65. There was no way. He did.
Yeah.
My parents did not have enough money for them to retire. So even after he got jacked out of his pension too. So
Yeah. Yeah.
So
There's a lesson to be learned in that too.
yeah, don't join a fucking union. I'm gonna go on about this.
Needs to be said. If you need to go off on this, go off.
No, it's going to be kind of a running
public
theme.
service. Yes.
No, I have completely changed my mind on unions. I loved working in unions. I thought it was great. I think it is a terrible idea for anybody under the age of 50 to get into a union. If you're over 50, it's great. But you're still going to fight the seniority rules, man. So that's the
Yeah,
thing.
you are.
Yeah, but
That's fine.
I mean, but the cool thing about it is usually at a point like that, if you've got a pension and your retirement age is going to be a combination of years of service and your age.
Yeah.
Okay. And so if you do it about 45 or 50 or maybe 40 at the earliest, you'd probably be all right. You're just going to be stuck there for 20 years. Okay. If you're cool with that, that's fine.
Yeah.
If you're 22, run for the hills. So absolutely run for the hills, because if I can't imagine doing what my dad did, because my dad joined that airline when he was probably like 21.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then 42 years later, so the company goes Tango uniform and he loses his pension. That's my lesson that I learned.
Well, no, absolutely. And trust me, I sort of leached off that lesson too, where it came to, I can trust this company's big enough.
Right. It'll be here forever. Yeah.
That's just how they do.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So
There's not an employer in the world that will take care of you better than it will during your first day of work. So,
yes.
yeah.
Yes.
So,
Okay. So unless you make it to one of the truly elite levels.
oh, sure. Yeah.
And-
this is my company now.
Right,
Yeah.
and at that point, all bets are off. Do what you want. Right, this is not.
Yeah.
You are not in this discussion. So if you're
Yeah.
sitting around and you're like one of the fucking Illuminati like card members of GE right now, this discussion does not pertain to you. You're fine.
Yeah, you're
Okay,
fine. Yeah.
you're good. But for the rest of us that have spent more than our fair share as stiffs,
Sure.
right? These are well.
God, that gets me going too. That gives me another tangent to bitch about.
Tangent away. What do you?
Like there's a lot of lefty podcasts that I listen to. Of
course.
And so I'm kind of souring on this working class hero thing in some respects, because a lot of these people have no idea what it means to be in the working class.
Not even a little bit.
Not even a little bit.
No.
Yeah, it's like, where did you go to law school? You went to Yale for law school and you got a podcast. That's awesome. Good for you. I'm glad you actually were able to leverage that into it. Don't talk to me about why I should join a union. So I was a machinist. All right. I was a teamster. So I'll tell you all about it.
Can I tell you guys about the teachers union and how much it's
sorry, Colorado Educators Association. It's not even a union. You don't even call yourselves a union.
No, but they try to throw the word around like it means something.
No, not if it's not even a closed shop.
Okay, so all right, just
Can you key your principal's car and get away with it? No, it's not a union then.
that was Cameron. Okay, so I will say this. There are some unions that I would definitely recommend, but yeah, they're all closed shop. You have to get in anyway. So if you are, say, like a New York firefighter or a cop, or something,
yeah,
right?
okay, yeah.
Because the way that they structure it is they just change the terms of the people coming in. So if you joined at this point, you get your full pension at this, right?
Yeah,
Whereas,
breaks. Yeah.
and if you join on this day,
Yeah.
you get a full pension at this age plus 5.
Yeah, railroad
Right.
was the same way. We had what we call pre-85 guys. These are guys
There
who
you
were
go.
hired out before
Yep.
1985.
Got it.
All right, they got to retire like basically 5 years before everybody else.
Yep.
Yeah,
And-
because they were not expected to live that long.
I understand, and that's a fair adjustment.
Yeah.
And it's just all right. So if you get on this time, you got to pay for the old timers,
yeah.
and the new timers will pay for you.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, those unions I completely endorse, and the protections that they give. Got it.
I don't even know about that anymore, man. Maybe like some of the municipal ones, like police and fire, sure. But I know like the ambulance drivers around here try to unionize, and the city slapped that down
Good
like
luck.
crazy. Yeah, exactly. They were like, "Oh no, we're just going to sign a different contract."
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna contract out with a different provider. In which case, in point in time, your seniority is useless. Okay, so the 4 or 5 years you spent like trying to get those COLA adjustments or those step increases all down the toilet, because the new company's going to say, oh, yeah, we'll bring you over, but we're going to cut your salary in half. So, or you're going to take, we're going to cut your seniority in half, which is exactly what happened, when American bought TWA from us. And so,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
They're like everybody in the company, from the most senior guy who'd been there for like 60 years. So he's suddenly has less seniority than someone who hired out last week. So, oh my God, man.
Yeah.
And that's all done on the corporate level. That has nothing to do with the union. So if it's like a company that is not going to go anywhere, or if it's a municipality, that's fine, because you're not going to bankrupt. Like even Detroit, the bankrupt city, it's still got unions. Its paychecks
They're
don't
still
bounce.
paying those
Yeah.
guys. Yes.
So,
Yes.
so that's completely different. But in any other context, like most of the unions, I wouldn't even think about it unless it was like, if it was a union like that got me to like a carpenter's union where I could do an apprenticeship and then become a journeyman and then eventually become a master and then,
Sure,
say, well,
sure.
fuck the union,
Yeah.
I'm going to actually go do my own thing now.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fine. So, but I wouldn't
Don't fuck with my trim carpenter.
don't fuck with
Yeah.
my trim carpenter,
Yeah.
But I mean, I wouldn't, or like a pipe fitters union or like a
Yup.
steel worker union. If you're one of these iron workers that builds bridges, you're fine. So, but like in other situations where it's like, no, I'm not going to join the union at the grocery store.
Yeah.
I'm not going to work here for the next 30 years.
Yeah, but, okay, so this is we talked about this here. Like again, we keep coming to this post-COVID universe, right? And there's again, it is when they talk about what they've been doing for workers, starting rates, and kind of the stuff.
Sure.
One of the things that, and I told you about this experience years ago, right? This is I think this is what got me to go back to college. Was that McDonald's on Jetwing, right? There was this manager behind the counter, and he just looked exhausted, like he'd been dealing with shit all day. Like I'm talking about, like the fucking guy that fixed the ice cream didn't show up. The bathrooms have been nuked from top to bottom, and nobody is willing to clean it up. So I did it, and so he's standing there at the counter, and this big fat woman. Okay, I only use these terms because that's what she was.
It's descriptive. Yeah.
Okay, use your mind's eye. You've seen her. She comes up to the counter and she's furious. And she comes to the manager and he's like, "Well, how can I help you?" And she's like, "There are children going up the slide backwards in the play area, and there is this."
What do you want me to do? Go out and tase him?
Right. There's this look in this guy's eyes who looks like he's been through World War I and II, and you can see there's this shift between. It goes like in a second's time. You can see his eyes go from "I want to kill you" to "I'm going to kill myself."
Right. Yeah.
Like there's like I can see him. It's like in fast motion, I can see his thoughts of, how did it come?
How did it come to this? Yeah.
Right. I can show you my old report cards. I did fine.
Right.
Right. I come from a good family. Right. There's all these. How did I come to listening to this shit?
Yeah.
Right. And there's this thing where what I'm hoping is part of the workers' revolution post-COVID is this thing where people actually get to say, "What do you want me to do about it?"
Yeah.
Kids are kids, right?
Yeah. Well, you would hope that people would have a little bit more patience. And I think maybe for maybe the first 3 or 4 months, that was the case.
Yeah, like
But then,
after 9/11.
now people are just assholes about it, like regardless of whether or not you're basically shaming people into putting their masks on, or if you're proudly out there breathing on people because you refuse to wear one. It's just like, chill the fuck out, man.
You get that tattoo of your fucking Band-Aid to let people know it's like, "Oh, you got them in this one."
Yeah, I know.
It's like, I got my walking papers. Yeah, I got my freedom papers over there. I got
get
them,
it.
but
I get it. And, that's why, anybody, even Will the other day, I was kind of surprised. But I'm not, I'm surprised, but I'm definitely not going to hold it against. I'm not going to allow something like that to ruin a friendship. But I've heard so many we can't hang out with them anymore because they refuse to do this, or we refuse to hang out with those guys because it's all hoax and they just bought into the entire blah blah blah. And it's like, you got to be kidding me, man!
I can't hang out with these people because of who they voted for.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. So that's definitely been a thing. But I mean, I think I kind of got over that one. I got pretty good at shooting guys down. So on that one, and then realizing that this is just not a topic we're going to talk about. All right. So I am more than happy to talk to you about football, or baseball, or, I don't care. So whatever. But, if you're going to sit here and tell me I mean, like the QAnon book that I'm reading, you start going in that territory, man. It's just like, all right. So it's time to change the topic. All right. Well, I want to talk about this. Well, then you need to find somebody else to talk to about it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. We live in a world of choice.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, that's no offense, but at the same point in time, I don't want to talk about that. And, when it comes to conversation, I have right of refusal.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
Yes, you do.
And so, but I'm seeing like it's actually destroying some relationships.
What a stupid thing to destroy a relationship
It's
over.
silly. It's absolutely silly. And so, it's also one of these things where like everybody's, oh, they're just waiting for this other shoe to drop. And it's like, it's not gonna, it's just going to everybody's going to find something else to budge up on one side or the other. And really what it comes down to is just, there's a lot of just people out there just plain fucking unhappy,
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
most of the people like you and like your brother and like my brother, and, sometimes Ryan, everybody, we don't talk about these things because none of us are generally miserable people. A couple miserable people that I know, this is all they talk about.
Listen. Okay.
So,
Here's the thing, Patrick. I will talk about it with you, okay? Because I know that there is a 0% chance, right, that you're going to go home, you're going to wake your wife up, and you're going to be like, that fucking Jeff.
I'm deleting him from my phone.
I'm deleting him from my phone. You take the picture of me from your phone, put it on your front door, and then draw a Ghostbusters note symbol. You're like, this guy is not coming out. I was like, we do not
serve this man.
we do not break bread with this piece of shit. He's not coming in here again. You'll never get mad. You'll be like, that's weird that you believe that. Let's talk about it, right? The problem here is I would gladly have political discussion with all sorts of people if they weren't willing to go there, right?
I agree with you on that one. There's been a couple times where I've been able to breach the topic carefully with some people.
Absolutely.
Just to kind of scope them out and stuff like that. And I've actually had some pretty decent discussions with some people that I deeply disagree with on a couple things.
Absolutely, yes.
But yeah, I mean, you almost have like a time limit on that, especially if they see that, there's like, oh, this is a guy that I can talk to, and then that's when it's like, oh, okay, so, let me tell you about what are the midichlorians they extract from children. And it's like, all right, this one's gone too far.
Yeah, there's this thing. Yeah, that's the problem. Like with a lot of, okay, so it's not just broaching the topic like with somebody else, right?
Sure.
You can always tell when it's going to be a problem when not the person you're talking to, but the next person over, right? Okay, see,
yeah,
because the way they jump,
that's a problem at the bar.
Yeah, they jump into the conversation with the attitude of like, the fuck did you say about the Giants?
Right, yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. No, that's not something that I know how to deal with yet. So, other than to just back away from the conversation.
That's all you can do.
Yeah.
You can just like, oh, okay.
So, because I've seen that happen a couple times where all of a sudden someone else who's just within earshot will start to butt in because obviously their opinion is really important. And, I don't know. I mean, like most of the better conversations I have been like one-on-one ones, or just kind of like side conversations that nobody else was paying attention to.
Absolutely.
Too busy watching the TV or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, my brother's got like wicked defense systems on this. So anybody even gets close to one of those topics, he just starts looking at his phone and he just does this thing with his hands where he's like, I'm looking at my phone. So,
it's not happening.
It's just like my dad used to do, where he's got this like annoyed, like, it's Greg at the table again. So it was the exact same movement. It's just like
like it should be this simple. Like if you see somebody just rubbing the bridge of your nose, that should be the gentle sign to like, I'm giving you the chance to just bow out gracefully right now.
Yeah. Or the glasses come off. Yeah.
Or,
yeah.
Yes. Glasses come off, you rub your temples, you rub the bridge of your nose, something like that. That should be the universal symbol for you to be like, okay, we can still be friends because I'm not going to go any further on this. Right?
Yeah, let's chill the fuck out on this. I don't know. I've had a couple people push me back on the other side of that one too, though, So they were like trying to pick a fight on certain things. Like especially back with the Kaepernick thing and the kneeling.
Oh, yeah.
And stuff.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I couldn't believe how upset some people got by that. Now, of course, I hang out with a lot of guys who are veterans and things like that. Sure. And I mean, they were particularly sensitive to it for some odd reason. So I was like, did you read the Constitution? So, but then, if they just get a whiff of the fact that you weren't completely on board with where they were on this one, it was like attack season. So it was like blood in the water.
Right.
So,
And oddly enough, I've known some veterans who their approach was like, no, I went to Iraq so that dude can...
absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
And what I wouldn't want to do is I wouldn't want to introduce that guy to the other guy in the same bar.
Well, I guess it would depend on who had more combat tours.
Yeah, I suppose that's true. Yeah.
Because I've definitely seen some veterans do that where they start, waving their dicks. Well, no, that's dick measuring contest. That's what it is.
Right.
So, there was a while ago, I saw someone just get put in their place by a Vietnam veteran, too.
What was the situation?
Oh, this was a long time ago, man. So, unfortunately, that guy's gonzo now. But it was just one of these situations where, and it's not even any of the guys that I hang out with anymore. So, there's a dude who used to hang out at the bar, and he did maybe a tour in Afghanistan, if I'm not mistaken. And it was something that was complete. No, actually, I think he was in Iraq.
Okay. Yeah.
And it was this thing that was completely, always in the wire kind of job. Actually, I think I have seen him. Well, no, I haven't seen him. I saw him once this summer, I think.
My preface is I will never shit on anybody's service.
Yeah, no, I won't either. But it's still at the same point in time, he was talking up a big game, and we had this guy there who was hardcore, had been in Vietnam, and even though he was an Air Force guy, he was not the kind of guy who cleans windshields. He wasn't as bad as Lindsay. So you remember Lindsay?
Oh, of course, yeah.
So, but he was kind of always in the field doing stuff, Lindsay type stuff, and he just laid him out one day. He just looked at him. He's like, what do you think I did? And just started laying out, have you seen this? Have you seen this? Have you seen this? And that guy never talked to him again. So just absolutely never talked to him again. So, and it was kind of uncharacteristic for that dude. To kind of call that guy out, but he just got sick of it at one point in time.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah, I know. I was just at the other end, ooh.
Oh yeah. Well, you got to do what every online does. You just have to. Ooh,
yeah.
That's show your reverence, man. I mean, it's a little bit bizarre. It's a. I don't want to say that. All right. To make the argument that a lot of people like to say, it's like, oh, we're more politicized than ever. It's like, okay, well, online we are, right? And I won't debate that for a second. And when you're talking about the propagation of, free media, podcasts and stuff like that, that's your audience is to go out there and say all right, if I'm going to do a rightist podcast, I'm going all the way. If I'm going to do a leftist podcast, I'm going to go all the way. Because, I mean, that's where you get the people that's where you get extreme head nodding, right? And that's what you want, right? If that's what you're doing. But generally speaking...
comment, subscribe.
Oh, by the way, comment, and subscribe, guys. Thank you. So
buy a coffee mug.
Yes. When they go on sale.
Yeah, when they go on sale.
Sign up for my Patreon.
Patreon.
Yeah. No, the thing there is... When it comes to regular discussion, a lot of times, number one, what you can do is you can just curtail that. It's like, we don't talk about that here. When it comes to the source of your very political in-laws, you can retreat to a neutral ground of your house and say, we're not going to have this discussion anymore.
They've mellowed out quite a bit. So,
well, yeah.
just to throw that out there.
Well, sure. Yeah. But also, if you don't have somebody to go at, you eventually do.
Right, yeah.
Look, man, a long time ago, you decided to stop entertaining my fucking nonsense. And I was highly partisan at one point where it was all things in this side of the world are black, all things on this side of the world are white. And eventually you came to the point where you said specifically, I reject your argument.
Oh, what was that?
I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember either.
You
I reject this argument.
You were like, I reject your argument. And I was utterly defenseless. The only thing I could do...
Well, you laughed.
Well, I laughed. The only thing I could do at that point was realize...
You can't do that.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it was, but I remember it was out in your garage.
It doesn't matter what it was about. Yeah. When you hard reset my brain, I had to fix the BIOS, and I'm like... Sweet Jesus. I'm like, this isn't going to work on it. He's not going to entertain my bullshit anymore. So eventually, like, well, since Pat won't accept this, right? He just said, like, no, this is, I've changed the, parameters of our agreement, right?
Yeah.
And, once that happened, I'm like, okay, got it. I guess I'm just going to have to rethink things. I'm going to have to approach Patrick with a more nuanced view of things. And, so that changed. So if you have people in your life that you can do that with, eventually you change. But, if you just hang around a cohort of people like, oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Fucking Nazis in every mailbox and fucking, they're hiding behind every bush and
Oh, yeah. So
they've infiltrated every level of college.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God, yeah.
White supremacists everywhere.
White supremacists in college. That is the last place you would actually find a white supremacist, I think.
You think?
I've worked down a lot of colleges. I don't think I've ever met one, including amongst the student bodies. There was like one guy that I had at the community college. He was kind of borderline. I was suspicious. So, but I don't think he actually was.
But unless you tip your hand, I'm not even going to suspect.
Yeah.
I'm not even, I certainly wouldn't make an accusation.
Oh, Lord, no. No. It was just, I was teaching that business law class, and he was really into the like the pocket constitutionalist kind of thing.
That's not enough evidence.
Oh, but he was like almost sovereign citizen bad. So he was a nice guy, but you got him going on certain topics, especially things like affirmative action. He was one of those guys who had such a vested interest in that, it was weird. Does that make sense? When someone is so vested in a particular topic that obviously doesn't apply to them, it's kind of like, why are you so upset about this?
But you don't want to pick at that thread.
No. But it was that was the basis of my suspicion in that case.
Certainly, and it's enough to get you to ask maybe one of the three question racist test.
We haven't talked about this.
No. But I mean, if you can just stop that guy and say, "Excuse me, sir.
Excuse me, sir.
What's your favorite sport?"
Right.
And then when golf or hockey comes out of his mouth, then you're just.
Is golf really does golf really qualify under that?
Absolutely.
Do you think so?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I don't know. I know a lot of people who watch golf, and I would say none of them are racist. So they would answer Oh, but that's the point behind the test.
Absolutely.
That's right.
You
better explain the test because this is your invention.
Yeah. So 1 out of 3, you're in the clear. That's just to be expected. That's just preference. My favorite sport is hockey.
Yeah.
I'm a minority.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Literally a minority. But it's. I'm also aware that. When they go to commercial, none of the songs they play have any bass in them.
Yeah, that's true. Not much of a beat either. It's either in the realm of like what? Like it's either going to be some form of like Olympic national anthem. So
right, or
just transition music.
Good old classic rock. This is
right, yeah, but kind of like is it really, like Kid Rock or...
No, we're talking about the Bob Segers. We're talking about, yeah. No, and so, that's the second part of this here is when you ask somebody, who's your favorite rapper, right?
Who's your favorite rapper?
Now, if you're talking about a genre that is, I would say, I don't know, 98 to 99% one ethnicity. Right. And if that person coughs up either I don't listen to rap, or B, Eminem or House of Pain.
Or House of Pain. Yeah.
Now, again, this is why you don't even hit danger territory until it's 2 out of 3. So if you hear, what's your favorite sport? NASCAR. Who's your favorite rapper? I don't listen to rap. Then you have some room to be like,
Well, you have you have to do the confirmatory one.
Right, yeah. Right. And the third question was the one that often went into, that's the bump spot. Right. Because that had to do with, like, who is your favorite basketball player? There were a few.
Oh, yeah.
There were a number of different things in there.
Yeah, who's your favorite basketball player is really confirmatory if you get one of 2 answers. Yeah.
If you say Larry Bird, that almost counts for 3.
Oh, yeah.
That almost invalidates the other 2 questions.
I've heard people say, like, John Stockton, too, and it's like, that qualifies as well. Yeah. So
Steve Nash.
Yeah.
And again, no any one answer
Right.
is indicative. Two is just, you might want to think about it. Three is because if you get two, then you start thinking about, I really do talk to my mailman differently when
Yeah.
when it's this guy versus
Yeah, I
that
lock
guy.
my car when when I'm in that parking lot. Yeah, so there you go, the racism test.
Yeah, and the third test, if you'd like to add comments as to what would be an accurate but not hand tipping.
Yeah, it can't be ham-fisted.
Right,
Yeah.
right. If it's obvious, if it's like, because the one I struggled with was,
So, what started the Civil War? Yeah.
yeah,
It's like, oh, it's about, lots of things, mostly states' rights. It's like, oh, shit, you're so far in the territory now?
yeah.
I don't think you're redeemable at this point in time. So you're going to have to go do some time at the community center or, like, pass out some, lunches down at Karen Share.
Yeah, but the thing is, I would also give you the other side. If you said, like what's caused the Civil War, and you said states' rights, and I said, well, who's your favorite basketball player? Say, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I'm like, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's your favorite sport?
Baseball.
It's like, oh, yeah.
Okay.
It could go many different ways.
Right.
Yeah.
Or if you say, like, well, who's your favorite rapper? And you say, KRS-One. I'm like,
Okay.
you really do believe in states' rights.
Wow. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, if you're batting 1,000, then
Well, yeah, some of the answers are batting 1,000, so it'd definitely be hockey. All right.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and then the next one would definitely be Larry Bird. So.
oh yeah,
Or no. The next one would definitely be I don't listen to rap. So.
or House of Pain.
Or House of Pain.
You pick the Irish rappers, the white Irish rappers in a genre
Right.
that is predominantly.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah, they don't really fit into any. Yeah. Yeah. So if you ask that, or like if rather than like I don't listen to rap, you get I hate rap.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, then it's like, oh, you use the magic word right there.
Right.
Yeah. We got you.
Exactly. And I remember that for a while there, I was toying with something with like, did OJ really kill his wife?
Oh, yeah, you
And
can't do
again,
that one
that's
anymore.
too,
Yeah.
It's too on the nose, right?
It's too on the nose. And actually, yeah, that one, it's just, it's changed. So in the last 10 years
Agreed.
since you invented the test. So,
Right. Yes.
yeah, that one's changed.
Now, keep in mind this test here. I've never used it to preclude anybody from employment. I've never.
Yeah. Never used it to thin out the dating pool.
Right. You believe what you want. It's fine. Yeah. It's not. It's not all right. Go ahead and administer the test. We got to fire everybody that's 2 out of 3.
Right,
No,
yeah.
it's nothing like that.
No, it's just like there are times where I don't know. It's only happened a couple times where I've been suspicious of somebody.
Well, I've known some.
Yeah. Well,
I've known some
I've only known a
bona
couple,
fide,
man.
yeah.
I've only known a couple. And some of those were very, very old school. And so, like way back, like early airport days.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Where that was actually kind of like, that was back when Vietnam veterans were still like 10 years away from retirement. If you remember that time.
Yeah,
'cause,
yeah.
everybody there when we started was basically a Vietnam vet.
Killing some time. Yeah.
Yeah. So, because it was Bob, Dennis,
JD, right?
JD. No, JD was not.
But he was military, right?
He was military, but he was not a Vietnam vet.
Okay.
Harold was. Bryce was, if I recall. And then there was like all the guys.
what about Abe? Was Abe?
Oh, I don't know. I think
know
he
he
was.
served.
I think he was.
I know he
Yeah,
served.
actually, I think he
Yeah,
was. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, shit. Chuck was a World War II vet. So he actually landed in Okinawa with the Marines.
Right.
So that was a long time ago.
That experience clearly did something to his brain too.
I thought he was pretty carefree. But,
That's what I'm saying.
yeah. Okay. Well, then Harold had been in 2 wars. He was Korean.
Yeah.
God, he was a weird fucker.
He had a good heart.
He had a great heart. He was a good guy.
So did Abe.
He
So
was
did
weird. Yeah.
so did Chuck in a way. And
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of those guys had that. What about Dennis? Dennis was
Dennis was a great guy.
yeah. Dennis was he was a veteran of
Vietnam,
he was Navy.
yeah. He was Navy.
He was Navy.
Vietnam.
Yeah.
He used to ride the PBRs, the little patrol boats.
Oh right,
So,
right.
yeah. So yeah, he was kind of crazy too.
And I feel like there's people.
But that's
who are not-
back when like some of that overt racism was kind of to be expected, amongst some of those guys.
generational.
It was totally
different thing.
generational. Yeah. And then over the years, I think I had a boss who was a bona fide racist at one point in time.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. He tried to he tried to recruit me, so to speak. Yeah. He's just testing me out. Yeah, that's when he got new neighbors, and he was so excited. He's so excited about your neighbors. Like, well, did you go meet them? He's like, no, but they're white. And I was like, oh. And he had this shit-eating grin on to see how I reacted to that, and he never brought it up again because I did not react well to that. He never brought it up again, but I know he was talking about it. So,
Of course you were. Well, see, there's a part of me that kind of wishes that you just sort of said, "The fuck is that supposed to?"
What did you say? My wife is Mexican. I don't think you had met my wife at that point in time. So,
Yeah, she did a lot of things. She's not Mexican though.
No. But that was the exact context. So, yeah.
Like, I see what you're doing.
I see what you're doing.
You're not slick.
No.
Nothing about you is slick.
No. And so he was like one of the only ones. There were a couple others here and there that were, it was like borderline, kind of cases. It was like, yeah, I know you're not like, having your wife stitch clan robes for you or nothing. But I've seen your search history on this thing, yeah. So,
Yeah, there's
you're not smart enough to clean out your fucking cookies before turnover.
Why are you looking at this?
Why are you looking at
work?
this stuff, man? Yeah.
Can't you just believe this privately?
Right,
and
yeah.
not, yeah. No, of course. That was it was a company man that cemented the hockey question because he let me know as I was watching basketball.
Oh, exactly how he felt.
You know why hockey is my favorite sport?
Oh, yeah, because it's not full of blank.
He let me know the exact ethnicity in unfavorable terms who was not in the NHL
Right.
and why that made it superior.
Yeah.
And he was a Canadian. Guys, Canadians can be racist.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
There's only 30 million of them.
Yeah.
They're not all progressive.
Yeah. Same thing's true with Englishmen.
English racism is
Ooh.
a thing in and of itself,
Yeah,
man.
it
It's
is.
I don't want to say
Yeah.
there's like an art form to it because there's no art to racism,
No,
but it's different.
it is definitely different. Yeah, I've only known a few. So,
But when you've heard them talk about
oh shit, yeah.
there are certain words they use.
Well, the misogyny too. So that
That is
something that is just
touching that.
grating
Yeah,
on
that's-
me. Whenever, every third word starts with C, it's kind of like, whoa.
And I get it. I understand that is in some circles that's like their can opener word,
I guess, man.
right?
So
You call your friend this,
right.
it means something
But it
different.
still means the same thing to them.
Well, the other thing is, where
Yeah.
do you live now?
Right, yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Like just imagine that for a second, where I was like, well, I live in a different country now. It's
Yeah.
like the N word is specie. Yeah, but you know better.
Yeah, but you know better. Yeah. So
Don't throw it around.
I
just
don't.
'cause you can.
Yeah, the only place where I ever worked where that was thrown around so nonchalantly was when, was when I was distinctly the minority. But it was made very clear to me that word was not mine. So
Never was.
No.
Never gonna be. I'm never gonna lobby
No.
for like, hey guys, if I get 55% of you to sign off on this, can I say it too?
No. But what was kind of cool there was we had this separate word that we all used, and we all called each other. It was kid. So,
Oh,
hey kid,
okay. Yeah,
how you
okay.
doing,
Yeah,
kid?
yeah,
What's
yeah.
up, kid? What is up with this kid? It was always that. It was a substitute word.
Had nothing to do
So-
with age. Yeah.
Nothing to do with age.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing to do with age. It meant the exact same thing. All right, at least within that context.
Right.
And it was okay for the white guys. And we had an Asian guy too. It was okay for him to use it as well. So, yeah. He was a cool guy. He was the guy who did the Alaskan fishing boats every year. Yeah.
Was he the Mormon guy?
Yeah, he was.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
You take the two most hardworking, industrious societies,
Right,
East Asian,
South Korean and
married to
freaking
Mormonism. Is
Yeah.
just like, all right,
Well, and he did, man. I mean, he'd go up there and he'd work his butt off, and then he'd come back down and he'd sign up for every little lick of overtime he could get. That dude's probably retired on an island by now. So,
you know what? There's also a possibility that he is currently working harder than any of us put together.
yeah, he owns like 6 car washes.
Yeah.
It's a lot of spare change.
Was he the guy that some like spring chicken was like, I bet you I could do that job? And he was like,
Oh, yeah.
This isn't
Yeah,
for
no,
you.
it was actually a guy from his church who was like, I don't think they were actually in the same congregation. But
Okay,
yeah,
yeah,
kind of thing. Yeah. He's like, oh, I bet you I could do that. Give me a job. He's like, no. He's like, no. It's a little like, so barely like 18-year-old white guy just out of high school, kind of a thing. And that guy's work ethic was questionable. So, but yeah, I forgot about that guy. So,
oh man, I have done my share of hard jobs, but there are jobs I go there and say like there is no force on earth that could get me to do this or do it well. Like this would destroy me. And like the fucking rig workers, I'm like, I can't do this. I'm
the
like,
guy's actually on the roof floor.
the actual roughnecks. I'm like,
yeah.
it's like, yes, I could do this, not for long.
Right. Yeah.
And it's like, once my Prius is paid off,
Oh yeah, you do drive a Prius, don't you?
that was a hotly contested topic
On the rig.
Well, imagine. Okay, so the ultimate shutdown to that was like, guys, like it still takes gas. It just uses less of it.
Right.
And eventually they were like, I guess that's a point. I'm like, I'm not like you guys. I'm not going to pretend that I'm hauling mattresses everywhere that I go. Right?
Well, you're just rolling coal on people. Yeah.
There was that. I'm not going to talk about the state of pretend macho that went on in places like, I'm absolutely certain you saw that in many.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure many of your railroad guys were.
Oh, that's how we used to get our claws into them.
Yeah.
So they would get past, conductor training school or T and Y school, and then they'd show up. They'd go churn for like 2 weeks, get the biggest paycheck they'd ever seen in their lives, and then the next thing we know, there'd be a brand new cherry red Dodge Dually 3500.
Of course. Yeah.
In the parking lot, and we'd see that dude get out and say, "Hey, we just got ourselves a worker for life," because that truck owns him now.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't want to make fun of guys, but you're like, all right, so did the grenade decal come with the car? Did you put that on as soon as you got it?
Yeah, I don't think it comes with Punisher stickers on it. It might, yeah.
Okay, that has to find its way into the white supremacy triad of questions is, does your car have a Punisher sticker?
My understanding is that's more of a military thing than it is a white supremacy thing.
All right, okay. But there are plenty of non-military guys who have those.
Are there?
Yeah.
Maybe they're just people who are enamored with the military. Your Call of Duty guys?
Yeah. Okay. Now
that's a whole night's topic.
Now hang on. I also want to preface this and say, I think the Punisher logo is an outstanding achievement in the field of design. Right? I think it's wonderful. I think I get it. I get it where the character comes from. I get all that.
Sure.
I feel that a lot of people who have put this on their trucks and stuff have co-opted this into a realm that it was never intended to go into.
Yeah.
Right?
Because how old is it? It goes back to the late 90s, right?
Oh, no. It's into the 80s. So,
okay, so it's even older than that.
So think about this. Like, if you think about that whole film era that like Death Wish and stuff like this.
Oh, it goes that far back?
Oh, yes. Because this is all, like, riding on that, like, Bernard Getz...
Right.
Taking back the streets attitude. That goes into film. That
goes back to Taxi Driver, or... Is that too far?
Probably a little bit too far. And Taxi Driver isn't really pro-vigilantism.
No, but it's It definitely has its advocates for that.
You have to go out of your way to misinterpret that movie to see that as a...
I've seen people do it. So
Look, I could write a fairly decent paper on it. I can say, like, look, here's the thing about Taxi Driver that adds all that to that, is the fact that the movie does have this super pleasant epilogue, right?
Okay.
That you can say, the message of the film is confirmed by this because of the positive way that this ends. Right? It's endorsing this.
Yeah.
Right? But then again, the stronger argument is these are his dying visions. He's been shot.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, yes, I could make a compelling point. It was like, well, if you wanted to say that, you wouldn't put that in the movie.
Right, so reductive logic on that. It wouldn't be there. Yeah. So
now the unfortunate thing is Scorsese takes less of my phone calls than you might think. Otherwise,
I've never
ask him
tried.
himself.
Yeah.
That fucking dude has been sending me to voicemail so much,
Right,
man.
yeah.
It's ridiculous. I'm like, it's the middle of the day. Your ass should be awake. But
So that's a little bit off Punisher then.
yeah, but it's in the same time frame. There's a like we've talked about this before, where you see a movie and you see the sequel, and the sequel sucks because what they're doing is they took all the wrong messages about what people liked about the movie in the first go around, and doubled down on the things that really aren't all that great, right?
All right, so where does the corruption of the Punisher come in?
Well, if you take this concept of a person that needs... Oh, my God, that dog is so nice.
Yeah, it's so nice.
But if you take the idea of crime is out of control, bureaucracy has failed to protect the average
Completely
citizen.
ineffectual.
People have to take the law into their own hands. I mean, vigilantes... Westerns, how far does this go back? How far does this tradition...
Geez. Yeah, ages.
Because all this is a modern cowboy.
Yeah.
Right?
And you don't even see the good cowboy movies get resurrected that kind of condemn vigilantism. So, they're not even out there. Like, what's the classic one? High Noon, where he throws his shit in the street.
Yeah. I mean, so this would almost be like like a Seven Samurai kind of thing,
right?
You know? So we're going to Kurosawa on this. So I mean, this is an old tradition, but kind of recontextualized because of like those subway, Bernard Getz, sort of situation here.
Got it.
Kind of like, you know how that goes. You can tell certain characters or certain movies were put together because of a certain attitude of the time period, right? A lot of things in the 70s, a lot of things in the 60s. It's like Behind the Green Door is a product of its time. It would not mean a darn thing in the 90s.
Yeah.
It would have been just like bizarre in the 30s. Right.
It's people.
Oh, well, that too.
Yeah. It just doesn't work anywhere else. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to ask some of the military guys that I know kind of where they stand on that one. Because I think you're right. You do see it in a lot of different contexts now. So it's almost like Call of Duty tags when we used to report Nazis.
Yeah, exactly. Well, okay. So the thing is, with that Punisher logo, it's always about what is the next step, right? Because it's like, all right, well, I'm putting this up because I believe in retaking our community, right? The next question is, from who?
Right, yeah. So we got to rip down the government. In order to do that, yeah.
You say, like, okay, well, I want to retake it from criminals, okay? And you say, like who?
Like who? Yeah. Where are they? Point them out.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, here's a lineup of 5 white guys and 5 black guys.
Okay.
Which ones are the criminals?
Which ones are the criminals? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm talking about. It's not on Front Street, but it's 2 train stops down the road.
Right. Yeah,
and
it's
again,
on that side of the tracks. Yeah.
This is to say that the symbol itself means nothing. It doesn't mean that you necessarily have these beliefs, but there are people who have co-opted that.
Right.
And you can clearly tell, like, if you ask a couple more probing questions.
Yeah, is it almost like a signal? So, like, I mean, a couple times that, like, I did have someone, like my former boss, kind of approach me. That whole conversation that he had was kind of like just a test.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of thing. And so it's like the Punisher symbol that. And then
I don't think so. I don't think it's that far.
I didn't think
no,
it was that far.
I don't think it's that far.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, that's the point. So, and like I said, I've been listening to a lot of lefty podcasts, that are just like, oh my God, there's, Klansmen behind every bush and freaking Nazis behind every tree.
Oh yeah.
And I just don't see them. I haven't had it. I mean, and like the thing about like racist, and I think I pointed this out to you a while ago, is they don't look for victims, they look for allies, and I've been recruited like twice. Yeah.
Well, don't say you've been recruited.
No. I haven't been recruited, but yeah, it's been an attempt like twice out of all the white guys that I've worked with.
Yeah, and that was the thing was when I was on the rig, I was actively deprogramming guys.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Well, basketball is actually a sport that's steeped in American history.
I can't believe it. And to the point where I was
invented here, right?
To the point where I was absolutely being obnoxious about it. I can't.
Oh, okay.
That was one of the fun parts. Was I can't tell you how many conversations I started with the words, as an ethnic minority.
You're right. Yeah.
Again, that was part of my pleasure. I'm not going to kill 12 hours a night, So
yeah, I
doing
can't pull that one off. As an Irishman, they're like, well, you should be on my side. It's like, oh yeah.
See, that's the thing. Is you take a look at the history of that. Like, there is some truth to that. Where, like, right now, my eyes would say, like, okay, you're Irish. It's hard for me to distinguish you from. Well, you have an Irish name.
I get it, but I'm distinctly not. So,
but when the history goes, like, all right, so when the Irish came to this country, they weren't really white. They were Irish.
Right. Yeah.
So
the Catholics.
Exactly. Yeah. So after however many years of seniority went in, right? Like, all right, you're white now.
Place to put it back. Yeah.
We're white now. We're afraid of these new guys coming into the neighborhood, right? And then suddenly it's like, but those guys are Italians.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So eventually Italians get...
Yeah. And then it was Puerto Ricans.
And then it was Puerto Ricans.
And then it was Iranians. Yeah.
You were just walking down a list of people that moved into your dad's neighborhood.
Yeah. Every time you go back to New York, it's like, it's taken over by a different ethnicity now.
Right.
It's like, we can't go up to my place. It's full of Iranians. Yeah. It's like, okay.
You would be like, so?
It's like, no, this is New York. You don't understand. It's like, all right.
But there's a part of him, it's like, wow, you really lived here at a different time, didn't you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's like hoops and sticks down the street and,
Let's go watch the Yankee game. Let's go ahead and look over the fence.
in the Bronx Stadium.
Give me 2 boxes so I can look over the fence.
Yeah. Stick baseball cards in my bicycle spokes. Sounds like a motorcycle.
My dad says Mickey Mantle really like to throw them back.
Yeah, right, yeah. Yeah, no, it was definitely a different time, man. So... But I mean, it's kind of different times now too. I mean, like even the time when you and I first started working, it was kind of like 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And then like up until like the last, I'd say like 4 or 5 years, man, shit was just cool. So, or at least it seemed cool. Yeah.
Or it seemed like there was some kind of understanding.
It was detente. Yeah. Everybody was kind of like chill, I mean, there was the whole Trayvon Martin thing. All right. So that came out.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was what, 2012? And then Ferguson was what, 16 or 14? I don't remember.
Oh, geez.
But then, just like the last 2 years, everybody just lost their freaking minds. So, and I mean, like I was saying earlier, these lefty podcasts, with these people who don't work with working class people. All right.
But they say they are.
But they say they're. If you take any one of those people and drop them into the middle of a shop floor, they would be horrified by the racist jokes that would come out in about 5 minutes, and everybody would laugh. So they just don't get that, man. So they just absolutely don't get that. And so it just seems like, all right, so who's actually really driving the bus here? All right, on this whole thing. I don't know. I think a lot of it's spinning out. So.
Well, okay, so I'm old enough, you're old enough to have gone back to where, like, the training videos were a new thing, right?
Yeah.
And I can also remember some of the talks where it was very quick, where it was like, you guys know what to not say.
Right.
I don't have to go into detail. I don't have to make a list. Right. This doesn't take 45 minutes or a 2-week seminar. It's like,
right, yeah.
Guys.
And an annual follow-up, yeah.
Yeah. If I catch you saying what you know you shouldn't be saying, you get 1 warning. Mm-hmm. If it gets to 2 warnings, I'll make a decision on the spot whether your ass is gone.
Yep.
Right? So instead, I mean, you have been to the seminars. I've been in the education system. You have been to the seminars.
They're
you
terrible.
have been to the, like...
God, they're so awful. So... I mean, ours is just now basically like this thing that you have to do every single year online. And it's just mash the button, use the little eraser, and move the circles around and stuff. Because it's all like this stuff that's designed to keep you engaged. But really, all it does is teach you how to get good at cheating, through it. Because you know exactly what they're going to say. I mean, I've gotten to the point in time where, like, I have taught this stuff so often.
Oh, yeah.
Nowadays,
yeah.
It's like, okay, so I can tell you exactly what a protected class is. I can tell you what they all are. I can tell you exactly what the EEOC does. So, like all these things, I can tell you, just like the whole reporting process for the schools, and that was even true back in corporate. So, this stuff's been around that long. And it's like, is that really solving anything, anymore? Because, I mean, you do go, and I mean, I catch the guys that even, all right, I'm not going to call any names out here, but, like there are some individuals, like I love my colleagues and things like that, but you can definitely tell where the cut line is between like people who, are very kind of like on the higher end of shall we call it the moral rigidity scale?
Well said.
And then there's the individuals who like empty the trash cans every day, who I can joke with.
Yeah.
And oh my God, it is complete. It is like, like I know that you're like this champion for the little guy, but you don't even know how to speak his language. I mean, it's not even close. I mean, like half the shit we've talked about tonight, that's like 1 foot in, 1 foot out, man.
Yeah.
It really is. I mean, we can sit here. I could tell you some racist jokes that would get me banned forever. All right, but you would laugh your ass off if you heard them.
The
You're already thinking of them, aren't you?
No, the problem here is they're going to be like, I've heard this one, Pat.
Well, that's probably what it would be.
Like, I told you this.
I told you this one. So, and that's just one of those things. But that comes from actually being like on an oil rig or like throwing luggage for a living. It's just the way that it is. And when I listen to people, talk about unions and like working for the common man and blah 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 and doing all these things, the universal basic income, blah blah blah, and all this stuff. It's like you guys are so far off base on this because you just don't understand where people are coming from. You're advocating for people who want nothing to do with actually being in that class, and none of these things get them out of it. So,
well, how do you think I feel when I listen to these same podcasts or watch these shows? And keep in mind my family's history.
Yeah, right? Sure, yeah.
Listen to these
tankies.
Listen to these people fucking talk about communism.
Right.
Is one of those things that brings my piss to a boil, man.
I've noticed that in you, I mean, now we can do an episode at some point because I will go into Marx in great detail. So absolutely,
please,
yes, I will go into Marx in great detail. But at the same point in time, I see people like totally misusing that and realizing that like the entire swath of people who actually did vote for Donald Trump are the exact people that we're talking about. They're the ones who tell these jokes, and it's not out of a sense of like any kind of maliciousness. It's usually a way to connect with somebody in a situation like that. Yeah. And as long as you can take as good as you can give, there are no worries. So out there, I mean, I've seen that in so many job sites where it's just like, oh, okay, like, I mean, the job sucks. We don't make that much money, but I'll come over this weekend and help you paint your house and stuff like that. Of
course.
Sure, you can have half my lunch kind of thing. I'll cover for you while you have to go get a doctor's appointment. Something. Yeah, I mean, this is just what you do. And when it comes down to it, all right, and you tell a joke that would get you in trouble with HR, I don't fucking go tell HR.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, okay. So here's something about it, and it's. This is the weird thing, and keep in mind that let me preface it, and you're agreeing with me. Like, this is not an endorsement of this behavior, and it's not an endorsement of this language. What it is when you work with a group of guys, all right, and you know what? Sometimes there are women in this group,
Sure.
but I'm not going to speak to that. Okay?
Yeah, I honestly, most of my jobs that's not been the case.
Okay.
So,
But when you work with a group of guys, especially in something that is less than, say, 100 people, right?
Oh,
We're
yeah.
talking about stuff, 10 guys.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Right, small teams. What they start doing to you on day one is they have their probing finger out.
right, they'll test you.
Okay? And what they're going to do is they're going to press a part of your body. So they're going to be like,
Yeah.
well, I'm going to make fun of your beard. No reaction.
No
Okay?
reaction.
I'm going to make fun of your children. No reaction.
No reaction.
I'm going to make fun of the fact that you're not married. No reaction. It's like, I'm going to make fun of your ethnicity. It's like, go fuck yourself. And it's like, well, we got him.
found it. We found it.
got him.
Yeah,
we got him,
found
right?
the ticklish part.
So a lot of this is like,
yeah.
not really racist, just, but it
Yeah.
really pisses him off.
Oh yeah, but I mean, but all those other things you talk about, those are all fair game too.
Absolutely.
You have the guy who's perpetually single, you know. You have the other guy who's like just, you know. I mean, well, it was always the old guy. We figure out. I mean, there's always an old man on the floor.
Yeah.
You know, there's always an old man, and that's a person. I mean, we have a guy at the bar. We do this to him every day. You know, where he'll talk and we'll be like, oh, you know, something. It'll be like, turn up your hearing aid. Or,
Oh, yeah.
so it's completely good natured. Although the reason why we do it is because that's his
his weak spot.
Poke him on that, and he's like, oh, and it's like, oh, we got you.
Right. And I know plenty of guys. It's like, oh, you guys think Puerto Ricans are fine.
Yeah.
But this guy doesn't like to be picked on for being Puerto Rican.
Yeah, well,
And-
the same thing was with her first bus. He didn't like being called a Cuban, and so we would drill him on that. Yeah.
wasn't there some dude who like, didn't you call him like penis nose or something like that?
Oh, that
Because-
was on the railroad, yeah. So, yeah, no, he had a bite taken out of his nose in a bar fight, and so we would call him Dick Nose.
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry. I was
I
penis
mean,
nose.
yeah, no, I mean, it's an absolutely horrible thing to do, but you know, to tell you the truth, I mean, it was that thing that you and I are talking about. I mean, the guy was well. So first of all, if he hadn't been like a sourpuss, you know,
Right,
we would have
right.
never done that.
Right.
All
Or
right.
you would have said it. You would have come up with a different way to say it that was endearing.
That was a little bit more endearing because, yeah, I mean, a lot of it is like how you respond. But if you're just a dick to everybody,
Oh yeah.
then you're going to get stuck with something. And I mean, we had guys on the road who were legendary for making up nicknames. You know, absolutely legendary, you know? So,
Dude, anybody from Boston or New York is well versed in that.
Baltimore.
It is, yeah.
if you find someone from Baltimore, they are usually really good at it.
Destroy that.
So,
There's a whole
yeah.
attitude over there where you and I, we're aware of the sport of ball busting,
Yeah.
but we do not play at the top level.
Oh, no, I'm not good at it. Yeah, I don't think quick enough on my feet. But there's some people who just absolutely destroyed me.
Absolutely.
But it's
right?
endearing, you know? And I mean, that's part of that camaraderie of like making, you know, barely enough money to get by.
Yeah,
You know?
it's like you're all there making $16 an hour.
Yeah.
You're stuck in the
Oh,
room
man,
with
I
these
never
guys.
made 16
Oh
bucks
shit!
an
No,
hour.
I'm talking about now. No. I'm talking
okay.
about like now.
Yeah.
All right, you're talking about the old days when it's
It's
like
like 585.
Yeah.
That's a good job.
yeah. Well, I'm talking about like especially like you're in the trades. You're making like 14.
Oh,
okay.
oh man, you yeah.
But you're stuck in the same room.
That's when you get bougie.
Yeah, well, okay, not for over there, not for how
Right,
much
right,
those houses
yeah,
cost,
yeah.
right? But you're making $14 an hour. You're stuck in the same room with these guys,
Mm.
5 to 6 days a week, not including side work,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you're gonna sit there and you're gonna bust on this dude's nuts. Where it's like, this guy doesn't like to be called
Doesn't like-
Chinese.
yeah,
Oh, we knew somebody. Okay, we knew somebody. I'm not gonna mention any names that was Italian. But if you confuse that with Mexican,
Oh my God, he would go ballistic.
right.
Yeah.
So that's always this is soft.
Yeah, this is a soft spot. Poke it. Yeah, no, yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, and I know that
yeah,
I had my limits, but there were times like if somebody got into like, oh, me like you for every dicky long time, right? I would start to get like, oh fuck.
Oh my
you.
God, if I had said that,
Fuck
yeah,
you,
that'd be bad.
right?
Yeah.
That would be like all right. Asian jokes are one thing, but it's like, all right, stop! Don't come at me with the fucking dog eating. It's like,
Yeah.
all right, that's weak shit.
Don't call me Chinese. I'm not. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys don't know the difference, but
Right.
yeah, like
Yeah, that's true. I've seen you bust on people for that. So,
yeah. So there's a
Seen
point
you
where
bust- Although it was kind of interesting. So we had Alex at the airport. So
Oh, yeah.
he was distinctly Japanese.
oh yeah,
So
Yeah.
yeah, but he would get really upset about that too. So.
Oh man, fucking.
But you were always really good at pairing that one off in some way by fucking with people. It's like, no, I'm Filipino.
Do that all the time.
Next week you're like, no, I'm from Thailand. You know?
Oh shit! I used to do that work at different places. Like, no, I'm just light skinned black. Look at my nose.
Oh, right. Yeah, you had a student accuse you of that.
She was special, man. She was amazing. But yeah, I was like, oh, that's great. I'm gonna roll with this. Yeah. So,
all right. Well, this one's probably been thoroughly demonetized, if not community flagged. But you know,
that's okay. If you disagree with what we say, like, comment, and
like, comment, and
subscribe.
and subscribe.
Go ahead and line up the songs.
Yeah, remember our rule. You can tell one friend about our podcast.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, if you want to use the comment section to share your favorite racist jokes, then
they will be marked and screened carefully. Yeah. So. Yeah.
How you doing on coffee?
I'm done.
We're done?
I'm done.
Okay.
You got a closing thought? What's your closing thought for the night?
Closing thought is I thought there was something we actually meant to talk about and we didn't cover it. Didn't you want to tell me something about China?
Oh, yeah. I finished that book.
Next time?
Next time. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
No. I finished that book. It's really good.
So we'll refill on coffee and we will see you in a couple of days.
Yep.
All right.
But for now,
You are?
I'm Pat.
And I'm Jeffrey. This
It's
is Coffee
bedtime.
Before bed. Like, comment, and subscribe.
I thought our end tag was "It's bedtime." It's time for bed. There we go.
But don't forget to hit that little bell so that you know.
All right, I'm gonna cut this off here. So.